Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary and to all who are joining online today. We begin our service with a musical prelude by John Mayhood. Beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you, John. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Greg Townsend. My pronouns are he, him, and I am pleased to be weaving worship this morning with Reverend Tim Temerson, Music Director Scott DeVoe, accompanist John Mayhood, the UUCville Choir, Pam McIntyre, and John Griffith. This sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on the homeland of the Monacan people and was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering. I invite us to take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute and say hello, and those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see sunshiny faces when there's none outside.
Hello. Good to be back.
Yeah.
Still collecting more rainfall, though. It's good for the soil, the earth, at all, especially for this spring.
We really need it.
Yeah.
We really need it. I mean, the last few years have been pretty droughty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hola, Maria.
Hola.
Welcome back. We offer a special welcome to newcomers. We offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. Please feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs, which are for newcomers, and please stop by the connections table near the monitor in the social hall. Seating is also available in the social hall where there is a live stream of the service. Everyone is welcome to the sanctuary, but if you need a roomier space, the social hall can be a good option. Many thanks to all the folks helping to share worship both here and online. Our greeters, ushers, and hospitality and logistics team, and special thanks to our AV Tech Rachel Buckland, supporting the dual platform worship both online and here on Rugby Road. And now we have greetings from board member Bev Ryan.
Good morning. Hey, it's so good to be with you. I just wanted to share something that this church means everything to me. It's here for me in times of joy and celebration. It's here for me in times of grief and sadness. Thank you. And it's an honor to serve on your board. That's it.
Thank you so much, Bev. Here are announcements. After the service, the Long Range Planning Task Force invites everyone to join us here in the sanctuary as we begin a conversation about how we will live our mission to put love into action. We need your ideas and your passion for our congregation. So please return after you pick up your kids from their religious education classes and get coffee or snacks in the social hall. For those with kids, please remember they can be part of Sunday second hour, which will meet in Lower Hall at 12:30, or can join us here in the sanctuary. We will begin around 12:20 here in the sanctuary, so please join us. The UU Congregation of Charlottesville is establishing a partnership with Sin Barreras to support their work with the local Latinx community. We are currently looking for volunteers to provide occasional rides to medical and other appointments, and we are in need of volunteers who would like to help out with an English language learning program for children ages 3 to 5 who need to improve their skills before entering kindergarten. Please email rides@uucharlottesville.org. That's rides@uucharlottesville.org. If you would like to be part of the rides team, and contact Reverend tim@uucharlottesville.org if you have interest in helping out with a pre-K English program. Our 15th annual Women's Dream Quest is coming February 23rd and 24th. This year's quest will again be in person and overnight here at UUCville. For more information, visit the table in the social hall after today's service and see the church's website to register. Please join us for coffee and conversation after the service in the social hall. I now invite Pam McIntyre and John Griffith to join me in the call to worship. Our call to worship this morning is adapted from John Saxon. Listen, can you hear it? The Spirit is calling. It calls us in the silence and through the noise and busyness of our daily lives. It calls us in the brightness of the day and the darkness of the night. It calls us in times of hope and despair.
It doesn't matter what you call it. It has no name and has many different names. The Spirit of life, the Spirit of love, the Spirit of compassion, the Spirit of hope, the Spirit of justice.
It's calling to you and to me. It's calling us to greater wholeness, greater connection, greater service, greater love. It's calling us to heal the brokenness within ourselves, in others, and in the world. It's calling us to live more deeply. It's calling us to beauty.
It's calling us to laugh and dance and sing. It's calling us to live through life's pain and sorrow. It's calling us to live courageously and kindly, to speak our truth in love, and to bend the moral arc of the universe toward justice.
It's calling us into community. It's calling us into the greater life of all. Listen, can you hear it? The Spirit is calling.
Please rise now in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 361 in the gray hymnal, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. The lyrics will also be on the screen. As Riley Griffith lights the flame of our chalice this morning, please join me in saying our unison chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts.
Singing together out loud, this chance to begin. As we are learning to believe it's possible to receive love, to be loved. Learning to believe it's possible to delight in love, to open our hearts to love. So let us make your space to pay attention, praising the big and the small, for everything, everywhere. Wonder and joy for this chance, and this chance to begin. As we are learning to believe it's possible to receive love, to be loved. Learning to believe it's possible to delight in love, to open our hearts to love. Wide like the sky, let our hearts open wide, for no good reason at all, just love. This gift of life, flowing and free, as we are learning to believe it's possible to receive love, to be loved. Learning to believe it's possible to delight in love, to open our hearts to. Learning to believe it's possible to receive love, to be loved. Learning to believe it's possible to delight in love, to open our hearts, delight in love, to open our hearts to love.
Choir, is it on? Is it on? Yes, okay. The choir has a special presentation to make, and it is a gift to Scott. Scott has been our music director for 12 years. Those were not easy years. There was a lot of ministerial change, and then the pandemic. The pandemic for singers is really a disaster. But Scott held us together. He learned a software program that was very difficult to record our voices. Yes, it was. I tried it. It's very difficult. And We notice that he likes wearing his stole, even when we're not singing. So today, we'd like to thank him for his wonderful musicianship and his leadership and his dedication to our church and to us. Thank you, Scott, from the choir and from all of you, I'm sure. I did, yeah.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, choir. Thank you, Scott. In case you all haven't noticed, Scott has just been like on fire, and the choir's growing. The creative juices are just flowing so much, and we're just so delighted with all of his creativity and leadership. So, Scott, thank you so much for everything. So, we're now going to sing our children, those who are heading off to religious education. Now remember, today everyone is going to the parlor for children's worship. So Reverend Leah is over there and she'll kind of show you the way. And a reminder as well, which Greg said earlier, that that the extra childcare will start at 12:30 down in Lower Hall 1. So, so that as well. So let's now sing our children out to children's worship. And I'd like to invite us into a time of prayer and meditation with some words by my colleague, Monica Cummings. Dear unknown, unknowable, yet known by many names, keep us mindful that we are all related, that when one of us is ignored and treated with dis-ease, we all suffer. Today, let us commit to welcome the stranger. Let us move beyond our comfort zones and connect with people labeled different and pushed to the edges of society. We can make a difference. We can transform lives and transform the world. We can bring harmony and healing to the places and spaces where we live, work, and play. Let us keep our hearts and minds open and receptive to the still, small voice that calls us to bear witness for those who cannot themselves, to speak the truth for justice for those without a voice, and to lead the way on the journey toward wholeness. In the spirit of love, compassion, and community, let it be done. Amen. We are an interconnected community that cares for one another. Part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts. Let us hold all the joys and sorrows of our lives, including those that remain unspoken. As is our practice, you are invited to come forward now and place a glass stone in the communal bowl of water as a symbolic act of each being held by the larger love that holds us all. Those online may type their joys and sorrows into the chat. Patty Wallens from our pastoral care team is here to help hold the space. Patty will also be available for a few minutes after the service in the back corner of the sanctuary, right over there, if you would like pastoral support or someone to listen to whatever is on your heart or mind. Those worshiping online can contact the pastoral care team at pastoral@uucharlottesville.org. Let us now begin our ritual of joys and sorrows.
This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of January is for the Charlottesville Public Housing Association of Residents, or FAR. Founded in 1998, FAR's mission is to educate and empower low-income residents to protect and improve our communities through collective action. FAR works year-round on community organizing efforts, offers a civically engaged internship program, and plays a vital role in the redevelopment of local neighborhoods. Rachel, will you please show us the social action slide for giving for those who would like to make a donation right now? In addition to giving online, if you'd like to give today with cash or check, please use the social action and collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in the collection plate. Please do not seal the envelopes as we reuse them. Along with our social action collection, each week we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of the congregation. Through your pledges and with the weekly Sunday morning offering, together our financial gifts support and sustain our congregation. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering by using the text address or going to our website. Here in the sanctuary, you may place cash or checks in the collection plates as they are passed. Let us dedicate all of the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good."
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here today. I want to be sure to reiterate the announcement that Greg made earlier and invite you to join us after the service. You'll have time to go get your coffee, and I don't smell popcorn. Maybe it's being made. I don't know. We usually got a pretty good nose for that. Or pick up your kids or take them to the second hour of Sunday second hour. Join us for some conversation about our long-range planning process. This fall, the board established a task force to develop a 3-year plan that would enable our congregation to live the mission we adopted last June. Here it is. There it is. That's the mission that we adopted last June. And today I am joined by 3 members of that task force, Greg Townsend, John Griffith, and Board President Pam McIntyre, who, as soon as I stop talking, will share their hopes and ideas for how we will live our mission and what they feel called to do moving forward. The other members of the task force, I think they're all here today: Tammy Wilt, Ellie Siverud, Chris Little, and Aksha Carrier. The team has been meeting pretty much weekly for the last month and a half, and we are excited to be engaging all of you in this process. Now, before I turn things over to our 3 task force members, let me say how important it is that we develop a plan with actionable, achievable priorities and objectives. You know, one of the things I love most about Unitarian Universalism is the extraordinary passion, wisdom, and creativity that all of you bring into this congregation, that you bring into all of our congregations. There is never a shortage of ideas and inspiration, and I think we certainly witnessed that in the wonderful process that led up to that mission. Now, while this wealth of ideas and energy is always a gift and a blessing, it can also admittedly present a challenge in terms of a congregation being focused and effective. The biggest pitfall that I have witnessed in Unitarian Universalist congregations who want to really dig deep and live our faith is that sometimes they try to do too much and spread themselves too thin. In order to be effective and to make a difference within and beyond our walls, it's my view, the board's view, the members of this task force view, that UUCville must set priorities about how we are going to live our mission and then maintain the focus to achieve those priorities as best we can. That is why we need a long-range plan. It will provide us with the focus we need to turn our values, turn our mission into action. So in the conversation that follows the service, you're going to be invited to think about how this mission speaks to you. What are you interested, which aspects of it might you feel called or be interested in being part of? We'll invite you to think about what our congregation, our local community, and the world might look and feel like if UUCville lives this mission of becoming safer and more welcoming, both inside and beyond our walls, of cultivating heart, mind, body, and spirit, and of working for a world of equity, justice, and peace for all people and for the planet. Those are the questions we're going to invite you to reflect on after this morning's service and in the coming days and weeks. And it is with great joy that I now invite Pam, John, and Greg to share their ideas and hopes with all of us. Pam, it's all yours.
Hello. I am so glad to be here with you today. We have come a long way over the past years in coming together as a loving and active community. And as you've heard, today we will have our first congregational conversation about constructing our long-range plan to support our UU mission of changing lives and bringing love and action to the world. I'm hoping that in this process we'll hear from all of you. When we include everyone's voice, we grow in understanding and develop much deeper and more powerful plans. Whether you've been here for decades or whether you just walk through our doors, we value your unique perspective, your wisdom, and your experience. We want to hear from everyone because we know that diverse voices lead to better understanding and better plans. As the task force talked, And because we're UUs, we really talked about all of this. We realized that we not only want to know what is important to you about our mission, but we really want to know what you would want to do to further our mission. What are you so passionate about? What is so meaningful to your life that you would want to put your heart and energy into making it happen? I thought about this for me, and I found that it was a much more difficult question than I had first thought. It is easy for me to think about what our congregation could do. But when I thought about what I would personally want to do, where I would want to put my effort, it got more difficult. Many times over the years, I have taken on something at UUCville that I would not have done anywhere else, and I didn't believe that I could do. And as a result, I've grown and stretched a lot over the years. So as I answer the question of what do I want to do to support our congregation's mission, I'm trying to keep in mind that I can still stretch in new ways. So here's my answer. I want to bring our UU values and commitment to love, kindness, and non-judgment to the world as an example of what humans can be with each other. I want to let people know that there is a religion that welcomes diversity of thought and supports individuals' growth and seeks to understand and grow rather than judge and control. More specifically, I want to support trainings and classes here at UUCville where we learn to communicate with love and respect with people who have different backgrounds and ideas. I want to learn how to welcome all people so we can incorporate different ways of seeing the world and different ways of doing things in our congregation. I also want to find ways to bring our UU values directly and explicitly to the larger community. I love all the things that we do to support the Charlottesville community, and I want to support those actions. But I also want to bring a message of love and kindness and tolerance into the world in actual words. I want to let people know we don't have to see the world through a we-they lens, that we don't have to judge others for holding different ideas, and we don't need to see things as a zero-sum game. However, I'm not exactly sure how this would look. Perhaps it would be helping UUCville take a public stand on issues while partnering with other local groups. Or perhaps it would be me being more open and outspoken about my faith in dealing with others outside our congregation. Maybe we need a marketing plan. Or maybe I could actively support a UU campus ministry at UVA. I expect there are others in our congregation who would know a lot more about this than I do, and we could work on this together, and I'm sure that together we could evolve excellent plans. I'm looking forward to hearing all your ideas about what you feel passionate to do in our congregation. I really believe that we are building an inclusive and supporting community that brings love in action to the world. UUCville is a place where we can come to grow and flourish, to receive comfort and care, and to be heard and valued. I believe that we are a haven where each of us can thrive and then bring our best selves to the world to make a difference. I look forward to listening to each of you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of Love in Action.
So, thank you, Pam. Thank you, Tim. I'm going to talk a bit about how I feel connected to this community. My desire to enable more people to feel that kind of connection and to provide different ways of thinking about constructing goals. One of the reasons I come here is to nurture my mind, heart, body, and spirit, as our mission states, those of my family and of our community. Maybe what we do here catches on. Maybe it nurtures the world. Life can be stressful. The pandemic, social media, the polarization of our political climate, and the witnessing of injustice to our fellow beings in the world has added to that stress. I found that taking action is one way to reduce anxiety. I love being part of a community that does that, a community that provides opportunities to listen to and learn from others and to be heard, and understands that love is an action verb. One way I experience this nurturing is by seeing the great opportunities my daughter has here for religious education, as well as for my wife and I connecting and learning together with other parents. I would love to see more families have similar opportunities and experiences. I would also like the sense of family to become more inclusive and expansive. We moved to Charlottesville about 4 years ago without relatives nearby. You can be family whether or not marriage or children or shared ancestors are involved. I want everyone to experience that feeling of belonging. Okay, now I'm gonna get a little bit geeky here. Perhaps you've heard of SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It is the kind of who, what, when, where, why, and how of goal setting. Research has shown that SMART goals are more likely to be completed. Making the world a better place is an admirable goal, but it's too general. Where do you start? It's not measurable. How can you tell if the world is better now than it was a year ago? Goals, SMART or not, can be about how you do something, so-called process goals, such as send monthly newsletters to OOPS, the UU parent support group. Alternatively, they might be about your hopes, what you expect if the goal is complete, so-called outcome goals, such as twice as many people will participate in RE classes. Outcome goals are harder to formulate than process goals, but they provide an adaptability that process goals do not. In a year from now, there may be significant unanticipated changes in our society. Process goals like increase the budget for RE by X% over 3 years may become difficult if the economy takes a turn. However, outcome goals like increase participation in RE by X% in 3 years could still be possible, but might require a different how. So I could state my desires as an outcome goal like the number of people participating in religious education will increase by 50% over the next 3 years, or the number of surveyed congregants that say they have a sense of family at UUCville will increase by 30% over the next 2 years. You absolutely don't have to state goals the way I described, but perhaps these are useful examples in thinking about stating goals that unite us and help us prioritize our combined efforts. I look forward to hearing your ideas for goals in whatever form makes sense to you and being part of a conversation about our future with you. Finally, I'd like to say that I find this kind of strategic goal setting can itself be spiritual. Thinking about all this has certainly made me consider what is important and how I can contribute at this point in my life. We need your help in this process. It's an ongoing activity, and whether you've been here for years or are brand new, please jump in and provide your perspective. I look forward to hearing from you today and throughout this strategic planning process. And now I'll turn it over to Greg.
Two hard acts to follow. So those of you who've seen me up here before know that often when I have the chance, I make some comment about my wife, Pam, when she has also been up here. She made me promise that I would not say anything about her. So I will make no comments about what a wonderful human being that she is. So Pam and I have this chair in our living room. It has soft fabric upholstery, a nice headrest, padded armrest, and it reclines all the way back with a perfectly placed footrest. It is so comfortable. We have no reason to change it until it becomes less comfortable. The whole upholstery wears thin, it doesn't recline all the way, springs start poking through the fabric. And that's the way it should be with furniture. Not so with an imperfect society. The great showman P.T. Barnum, he knew a little bit about people, the way we think, why we do the things we do. He had to in his line of work. And he said, comfort is the enemy of progress. One of the questions you'll be asked to answer for the Long Range Planning Task Force is, what part of the mission statement most speaks to you? And what would you like to take action on? What action would you like to take? I want to work for equity, justice, and peace for all people. And if we are to make progress in those domains, we are going to have to give up being comfortable. I want to help us get out of our comfort zones. We are all beneficiaries of some aspect of privilege that may be in regard to wealth, race, education, occupation, gender, sexual identity, ability, parenting, and so on and so on. I would put it to you that even the one thing that ties us all together here this morning, Unitarian Universalism, is a privilege. And the privilege that we accrue brings with it status and opportunities that some of us have and many of us don't. I know a young man who went off to college and during orientation participated in a privilege walk where a group of people in a room start off in a line and they get a series of statements read to them like my parents read to me at night. And if the statement applies to them, they get to take a step forward until one person reaches a line at the other end of the room. This young man reached that line first. He had always thought that he had achieved his many successes because he was smart and hardworking and organized and determined, all of which were true. But he was dismayed to have to recognize that all along, he had a tailwind pushing him forward. I want to help us to recognize, acknowledge, deeply understand, dare I say, grok for the hippies out there, where we have benefited and others haven't. And I want us to feel a sense of unease and disquiet about it. I want us to squirm as if a spring is sticking up through the fabric of our very comfortable lazy boy of life, and we feel compelled to do something about it. Stepping out of our comfort zones may require us, individually and as a congregation, to step outside of ourselves. I am an avowed 100% committed introvert, but I commit to spending time with people to achieve equity, even when I am feeling overwhelmed with human Congress. I want to invite you to watch the documentary, I'm Not Racist, Am I? With me. I want to take a privilege walk with you. I want to join you in choosing to act as an anti-racist. I want to be an active participant in our partnership with Sin Barreras. I want to share notes with you after we take multiple implicit association tests to help us recognize our own homophobia, transphobia, sexism, ageism, ableism, racism, and so on. And despite the fact that I've been touting the disadvantage of being uncomfortable, I want to help us to learn how to disregard our discomfort so that we feel empowered to be allies of those who are subjected to discriminatory, inequitable behavior. Being uncomfortable may mean trying things that we've never tried before, being around people we're not accustomed to spending time with, setting ourselves to being vulnerable to failure. But nothing short of that will enable us to be the progress-minded congregation that we aspire to be.
Thank you, Greg and Pam and John. So now you can see why I chose not to do the preaching today. So those were wonderful, and I hope that those 3 pieces of testimony have inspired you to want to be part of this process, to stay after the service today and join us as we start to engage in this conversation together. It is so important. And if we do this well, and if we develop a plan that, as I think John was saying, is clear and actionable and measurable to the extent that it can be, things will happen. We will get, I won't use the profanity, we'll get stuff done. All right? So, and important, not just any old stuff, important things that make a difference in our lives, in this congregation, in the Charlottesville community, and in the world. So I hope you will, many of you, if not all of you, will make this journey with us. Exactly, you know? Sometimes you got to drop a clipboard before you can make a journey. So, all right. So now, I think what we're going to be doing in this process is following the Spirit. However you understand that. Maybe it's your own conscience, the conscience of this congregation. Maybe it's divinity located somewhere. Maybe, who knows? You know, in Unitarian Universalism, we say Spirit is ultimately a mystery, but we feel it. We try to embody it. We don't tell you what it is. We just urge you to listen and to follow it when it emerges. So let's rise now and embody your Spirit. I was getting somewhere with this. And join in singing a very upbeat, if you feel like dancing, please do. It's number 1024, When the Spirit Says Do. Please rise. The words will be on the screen.
Spirit
Absolutely fabulous. Can you, I know I'm really short. Can you all still see me, I hope? Greg, would you extinguish the chalice? So we're going to finish today with some simple words that Haley Owens closed our last board meeting with. He's come from the great Howard Thurman, who simply says, don't ask what the world needs from you. Ask what makes you come alive. Because what this world, for all of its brokenness and hurting and trouble, what this world needs more than anything else is people who have come alive. Friends, be well, take very good care of yourselves, of each other, and of the world. Go in peace. We hope to see many of you back here in a few minutes. You've got plenty of time to take care of whatever business you need to take care of. And so go enjoy, go in peace, and all the best. Blessed be.